I pray that God be with me talking about this story because I have a lot of choice words and some very colorful things that I'm going to say about the person that did something real bad to this baby that you guys see on my screen right there. She did not deserve this at all. And it saddens me when families have such dysfunction that it resorts to violence. And the person that you guys see on my screen, whoo, I got a lot to say, but I don't want you to be offended before you know how I conduct my commentary. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And y'all know it's not me, it is the YouTube algorithm, and I know the YouTube algorithm sometimes is not too kind to my level of commentary. Beautiful little girl that you guys see on my screen. We'll talk about that GoFundMe here in a moment, but this story is very sad, coming out of Halifax County, North Carolina. I didn't see anybody from North Carolina in the chat. If I did, I might have missed it. But if y'all heard about this story, it has to break your heart. But I'm getting this story from WITN.com, so thank you for the news article. A woman in the East has been arrested and charged by deputies with the murder of her 10-year-old sister. Not her 10-year-old daughter, not her 10-year-old cousin, not her 10-year-old enemy. Her 10-year-old sister. 10-year-old sister. The Halifax County Sheriff's Office said that they arrested 22-year-old Kanasia Bradley. Let me see if I can get Kanasia's face on the screen. That is Kanasia, and they are claiming that she's 22 years old. And I want y'all to remember, I'm in my 40s. DJ Just Jay is in his 40s. This woman looks like she's in her 40s, not early 20s. If y'all look at her from the neck up, she does not look like she is 22 years old. Regardless of her weight, event, or anything, she just don't look like she's 22. There's just no way she's 22. She's allegedly 22 years old, Kanasia Bradley, and they're charging her with murder. Deputies initially went to the 2000 block of Beaver Dam Road, just outside of Enfield, for a report of a missing child on Tuesday. So there's a 12-year gap for when the biological mother had these two individuals. A 12-year gap is a rather large gap, and I'm not against a gap being like that. And more times than none, when you have a gap like this, if this baby girl had a much older sibling, guess what usually happens? The older sibling is looking forward to being the big sister, more like a second mother figure. Even though this woman has a bad physical figure. But more times than none, when you have that type of gap and you have a much older sibling, that sibling wants to look out for this child, wants to be a secondary parent to this child, and guide this child and teach them things and love them. I've seen it happen in many, many families. You don't usually have a dynamic like this. Officials say that the mother found the child dead in the backyard. Further investigation showed that the victim had been stabbed multiple times, which would be an indicator of hate. Hate. She hated her sister. And you'd have to ask, why does she hate her sister? Bradley, who is from Enfield, is the victim's sibling, according to sheriff's office. Investigators believe that the child was stabbed inside the home and then moved to the backyard. So either she dragged this child to the backyard or chased her down like an animal and stabbed her down all the way to the backyard. Or maybe the girl was trying to run and get away. That's got to be very painful and very scary and very sad. Officials say that Bradley is in the Halifax County Jail under no bond and is to appear in court on January the 25th, which is in 2 days from today, depending on when you're watching this video. January 25th of 2024. The sheriff's office says that the motive of the stabbing is still under investigation, but I could probably tell you what the motivation was. This woman knows that she doesn't look like a normal 22-year-old should look. She looks a hot goddamn mess. And I'm sorry for people who don't like me talking like that. I don't know why people don't like me talking like that. No, I talk like that, but they're just going to cry and complain. And I don't like you saying that. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to keep saying it because I am pissed to the furthest point of pistivity for what's happening to these kids. She's mad because that little girl was going to look a ton, no reference to weight, even though she looked like she weighed a ton. But that little girl was going to be beautiful and smart and grow up and become something great. And this mother, this sister of hers, at 22 years old, still living at home with her mom at 22 years old. Not that you can't, but clearly you weren't doing nothing with your life except for eating. If she had something to live for, something to look forward to, she wouldn't be worried about hating on her baby sister. Records show that Bradley y'all got to hear this part. Records show that Bradley also had charges for stabbing someone already pending in Halifax County for an alleged assault on her boyfriend last April. So the mother lost 2 daughters. Thank you for catching that, because y'all know I talk about that all the time. When you talk about Black Lives Matter, said pistivity. Yes, please use that word. Add that to your Google dictionary, please. Pistivity. To believe it or not, I'll actually tell y'all where I got that word from. I got that from a guy called Mac Minister. Mac Minister, he said, I was pissed off to the furthest point of pistivity. Got that from Mac Minister from California. That's where I got that from. She had charges for stabbing her ex-boyfriend last April. So she is a violent bitch. Extremely violent. Why she wasn't in jail for attempted murder for stabbing her ex-boyfriend is beyond me. Now, according to deputies at the time, on April 22nd of 2023, deputies responded to an address on Christmas Road in Enfield for a call about an assault and a car being stolen. Deputies said that the victim had told them that he and Bradley were driving on Beaver Dam. They put extra words in there. Beaver Dam Road, and when she pulled out a box cutter and cut him with it. The victim told deputies that he got out of the car and Bradley drove away, leaving him on the side of the road bleeding. When deputies found Bradley, they said that she still had the box cutter in the car, as well as blood on her clothing from the stabbing. Deputies charged Bradley with assault with a deadly weapon, inflicting serious injury, and larceny of a motor vehicle. At the time, she was placed on a 48-hour domestic violence bond. Bradley has a court date for the April charges set for January 29th. So was she out on bond? And then you would have to ask, who bonded her broke ass out? Maybe her mom, who it looks like she lives with? Don't sound like that was a great idea. Records also show that Bradley was arrested on August the 27th and charged with simple assault, assault with a deadly weapon against a law enforcement official, and resisting an officer. She's extremely violent and dangerous. Somebody said violent, jealous, bitter, ugly spirit. I 100% believe you. I agree with you. Bradley has a court date on February 24th for those charges. Anyone with information is asked to call the sheriff's office or speak with or to contact Lieutenant R. Samaji, and their phone number is 252-583-8201 if you got more information about this case. She should have never been bonded out by anybody. But let me give you guys the fair usage. Only got a couple news videos. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. That woman is a very, very jealous spirit. I absolutely agree with you. Do me a favor if y'all agree. Do me a favor and hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about it.
I spoke with H.
The investigation continues for Overstreet's infant daughter, Angel Overstreet.
A woman in the East has been arrested and charged with murder after deputies say they found a 10-year-old child dead with multiple stab wounds. The Halifax County Sheriff's Office says they arrested 22-year-old Kenija Bradley and charged her with murder. Deputies initially went to the 2000 block of Beaver Dam Road just outside of Enfield for a reported missing child on Tuesday. Officials say the mother found the child dead in the backyard. Further investigation showed that the 10-year-old victim had been dead and had been stabbed with multiple stab wounds, according to deputies. Bradley, who's from Enfield, is the victim's sibling, according to the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office says the motive of the stabbing is still under investigation, and records show that Bradley has also been charged for stabbing someone already pending in Halifax County for an alleged assault on her boyfriend last April.
And y'all see how we have this pattern of stabbing and violence. And then she got another opportunity to go out and be mad at somebody for whatever reason. She can't use her words. She can't use her fist. She uses weapons, and she is a dangerous individual, and she needs life in prison. I don't think this type of mentality, especially with her being allegedly 22 years old, even though she looked like she's a good 50, 51, 52. Like, I think somebody shorted her about 30 years. And maybe she's mad about that. That she looks like she's in an advanced staging phase. But this woman should have never have gotten another opportunity to inflict violence on anybody. So she was violent to the police, violent to her ex-boyfriend, and now she was violent to her own baby sister and caused this small human who could have grown up to become something great. And I think all of our children deserve that opportunity to grow up and be something great. We noticed she wasn't going to be anything. And now we won't even see what her baby sister could have done and give her her own platform and let her try to be the difference maker in this world. I think her name is Mashaya, if I'm not mistaken. Young princess, R.I.P. Your mother, I think, didn't do you any favors by bailing her oldest daughter out of jail. I know why mothers do it, but sometimes you just can't continue to keep making excuses for bad behavior. The best thing for her to have done was just to leave her in jail, just period. And I'm not going to say that she's responsible for her daughter's death, but the actions that you put into play affected this drastically. Little Miss Mashaya Shy Squire, young princess, R.I.P. And mama's going to have to live with that. She's literally lost 2 daughters. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Is that too harsh? I don't think it's too harsh, but nonetheless, I am sensitive and I do want to kind of hear what people think about this, okay? Thank you.